Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2019. Hope everybody's having a great week so far. Let's go over to thegrandsolarminimum.com. We'll start off with our links and our show. Some beautiful images across the internet today. Good picture of the Milky Way there. Go ahead and start off with some space weather news. Our solar wind speeds are sitting around 469.4 kilometers per second with a density around 2.9. Today, as AR-2745 disappeared, AR-2747 appeared. Apparently, we are going to go ahead and call this a sunspot, and I'll go ahead and show you here in a minute why I say apparently. But right now, this is sunspot number 11. So far for the total of 2019, we've had 145 days without sunspots. And checking in on the TCI, that is the Thermospheric Climate Index, the current reading on that right now is 3.04. And a lot of you that have just recently started following this channel, we started monitoring this when they added it to SPACEWEATHER.com. And we've been hovering around the 2.56 range over the last several days. This can only mean that we are experiencing a slight temperature rise in TCI just because of the recent solar storm that Earth's magnetic field just took on. We had solar wind speeds in excess of 744 kilometers per second. That's 1.6 million miles per hour was our solar wind speeds. Take a look at some of our space weather stats here at thegrandsolarminimum.com. And there's our sun that is blank. Let's go ahead and take a look at this sunspot that we are right now naming AR-2745. Go ahead and get out my handy dandy arrow to kind of help y'all folks follow along. This is the area, and Mari and I were talking about this sunspot as before we went on the show, and she had told me that, you know, a few people were upset about this. I know David Birch didn't really agree with this one either. We've seen a lot stronger get named, so I'd have to agree with you guys. This one's really pushing it, in my opinion. But nevertheless, we are calling it AR-2747 sunspot 11. And again, 145 days without sunspots. Now, looking at this coronal hole that is now Earth facing, NOAA is suggesting that we will see solar wind speed increase, bombard the Earth's magnetic field by August 10th. And when you look around the eastern limb, it's nothing, nada. That is the current look at the face of our Earth. Or I'm sorry, the face of our, right here, the sunspot, head on, Earth on, and then here's your eastern limb. As you can see, there is not a lot of action happening past that -90. Maybe a couple active regions, but very light. Also, monitoring something, possibility in the -180 up here in the top, which if polarity is definitely reversed, you would have to think that this could be another signal from solar cycle 25 up here at the very tippy top here. So keep our eyes on that as we watch AR-2747 likely decay within the next several hours. Taking a look at our TSI for July 29th. 2019 came in at a 1360.734. So TSI staying in the 1360.7 range again for the second time this week as we report on TSI. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to the GrandSolarMinimumNews.com. Wanted to start off the broadcast tonight. Shout out to David Birch, the Starman, and shares this gorgeous picture of these sprites that were captured in Switzerland last night, August 6th. And this photo credit is for Roger Spinner. This is the best image I've ever seen. Severe weather, extreme weather, photo of the day, indeed. These are considered gigantic jets, very, very large, and that's a lot in the atmosphere to capture at the same time. And here we have an eruption at Asai Mayama volcano in Japan. The alert has now been raised to a 3. And this is over at Watcher.news. The JMA has raised the volcanic alert for Asama Mayama volcano from a 2 to a 3 following an eruption on 1308 UTC on August 7th, 2019. The volcano is located about 87 miles northwest of the capital, Tokyo. This volcano has several major Apillian eruptions, the last 2 of which occurred in the VEI-5 and the VEI-4. The last eruption took place in 2015, was a VEI-1. Ash rising to 14,000 feet above sea level. Again, this is 5,900 feet above the crater. Local authorities said there were no immediate reports of injuries. The JMA said it expects more eruptions capable of affecting nearby communities. Pyroclastic flows are possible within 2.5 miles of the crater. JMA said the activity of the volcano had been progressively increasing due to the first half of June. From June 2nd to the 5th, a plume rose less than 1,300 feet above the crater. So, again, not a major eruption, but, again, more seismic activity coming from Japan. Earthquakes and volcanoes, definitely here recently, have been a bit on the uptick side. Large landslide hits town of Casargo, causing severe material damage in Lombardy, Italy. Italy makes the news twice tonight on our broadcast. A large landslide hit the Italian mountain town of Casargo above Lake Como in northern region of Lombardy after heavily hit region late August 6th. Authorities declared a state of disaster. Officials, according to there, are saying that heavy rain caused the Verone River to burst its banks for the second time this summer, sending a torrent of mud and water through the streets of Casargo. While there were no injuries reported, the event caused damage to cars, homes, buildings, and blocked roads. The mayor of Casargo, Antonio Leonardo Pasquini, said that there were no fatalities, but material damage is severe and called for the government to declare a state of disaster. Go look at some of the footage here from the landslide, the aftermath, the flooding. Again, Italy has not been a stranger to the headlines for landslides, heavy rains, heavy snows, flooding. We've reported out of this region many times this year. Heavy rain, floods, and landslides also affected other parts of Lombardy. Areas where bridges were destroyed. Flooding was also reported in Bergamo province, where emergency services responded around 20 calls, mostly involving vehicles. Winds up to 44 miles per hour and about an inch and 1.06 inches of rain fell in just 20 minutes over South Tyrol city of Bolzano. Authorities said it was the worst storm they'd seen since June of 2008. And for those of you who are new to our channel, ironically, 2008 was 11 years ago during the last solar minimum cycle. So are we starting to see the connections? Hopefully we are. All right, let's move it along. Typhoon Lekima strengthening, heading towards the Ryukyu Islands, Taiwan, Shanghai, and China. And this is the 9th named tropical cyclone of the 2019 typhoon season. Is strengthening on its way towards southern Ryukyu Islands, Japan, northern Taiwan, and Shanghai, China. So the last broadcast we did, we talked about a pretty heavy earthquake in the Japanese area. We led off the broadcast with a volcano eruption, and now we are dealing with a typhoon. Now, it passed well north of the Philippines and didn't directly affect the country. It enhanced the southwest monsoon, which caused heavy rain to the nation and sank 3 boats in the Gomara Strait, killing 31 people and leaving 3 missing. At 900 UTC on August 7th, the center of Typhoon Lekima was located 385 miles south of Okinawa, Japan. We got a 1-2 punch coming here, folks. Its maximum 10-minute sustained winds were 130 kilometers per hour. That's 80 miles per hour, and for you folk here in the U.S. The maximum 1-minute sustained winds were 100 miles per hour, with gusts up to 115 miles per hour. Central pressure was around 955. The storm system is moving north-northwestward at 8.1 miles per hour. Now, according to the JATWC, Lekima will continue on its current northwest track and pass just north of Taiwan near 900 UTC on August 9th before turning more poleward. The favorable conditions will fuel gradual to rapid intensification to peak 145 miles an hour by the time it nears Taiwan. Afterward, increasing vertical shear wind and land interaction will weaken it about 115 miles per hour at 900 UTC on August 10th as it approaches the Chinese coast. Again, here is a remarkable photo of these two particular storms. A very well defined eye there on the front runner storm here. Another dangerous storm, currently Tropical Storm Crosa, is located east of Lekima. Crosa is expected to take a different track and move towards Japan. Although not strong enough as Lekima, Crosa could approach and make landfall over Japan by August 15th. So we have one storm, Lekima, wreaking havoc on the region on August 10th through the 9th through the 12th. And then we have this other storm here, Crosa, approaching Japan by August 15th. So very busy season so far in the Pacific Ocean as far as typhoons. We have our 9th named storm, and these are just some impressive radar images. GFS, this is what they think is going to happen. Although I disagree with the storm not being, well, it looks like it does significantly weak as it approaches Japan. So there might be some good news as these forecast models will change, and today is the 7th, so we're about 8 days out from the 15th. A lot could happen, a lot could change. These storms can weaken, and wind shear could tear these apart as well. Thanks to Watchers.news once again for their hard work over there and keeping us up to date. And boy, so Japan once again making headlines. Volcanoes, typhoons, and now a heat wave that sends 18,000 people to hospitals and claims 57 lives in 7 days. Heat wave conditions across Japan. The lives now. Look now. All right, I'm gonna stop for a minute. And I'll look more into this, but this is probably a misleading headline as far as heat wave. Now, these folks don't have, I'm positive of this, a lot of these villages and stuff do not have AC units. So I'm not minimizing the temperature in Japan, but it's nothing that you would report as far as, in the triple digits. But these folks aren't used to this kind of weather. More than 1,800 were hospitalized in the capital of Tokyo alone, where temperatures have been stuck above 31 Celsius, which is 87.8 degrees Fahrenheit since July 24th. So again, for most of us here in the United States, we could do that in our sleep, right? Go inside the house, turn on the AC, stay cool, maybe check out the pool for the day. But again, if these folks aren't used to this kind of weather, they don't have air conditioning units in their homes, this could be a serious problem, especially if you're talking about this kind of heat from the 24th through August 4th, I believe. Yeah. So heat wave, yes. For Japan, yes. Does not mean hottest record on Earth or anything like that. Does not contribute to the fact that people are making these claims that this is the hottest month of July was the hottest month in record. This is just simply stating that for Japan, this is pretty hot. And it's taken effect. Now, again, to have 18,000 people in hospitals and it killed 60 people almost, when you look at the United States with these 3-day, 4-day heat waves, and 6 people had passed away at the last heat wave we had here in the U.S. Obviously, like I said, a lot of us have that convenience to go inside the house and flip on the AC. Same thing over in Europe. Not so much in France. Not everybody has window air conditioners and all that. But again, there is still, I believe, more convenience in Europe and the United States compared to Japan when it comes to when it gets hot out, when the conditions, how they deal with cooling off. Obviously, there is a huge difference on their day-to-day life in Japan compared to how we do things in the West and in Europe. To have this many people sent to the hospital on a heat wave, especially the temperatures that they are. Mari, are you have you caught anything I've been saying just now?
About the heat.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious to say if it was fair for me to say what I'm saying as far as Japan not having the conveniences of air-conditioned buildings like we have here in Europe and the United States. Is that a fair statement, or am I?
No.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either. But I'm pretty. But with the number of people that went to the hospital on 87-degree weather, though, you would think that that has to be the issue. But who knows? Maybe I'll look into that and find out for myself. Again, looking at the GFS models, these things tend to change, and very well possibly could. They're talking about at the bottom here these typhoons that are heading, which these storms here will be much welcomed indeed. As far as the rain, hopefully it'll cool things off for them over there. All right, moving right along. Once again, Italy in the news again tonight. This is their second time. 6 underwater volcanoes discovered near Sicily in the Mediterranean Sea. And I believe I'm going to follow Mari's advice on this one here. Scientists have discovered a series of previously unknown volcanoes just off the coast of southwest Sicily, Italy. The 3 northern volcanoes show a tough cone-like morphology, while their most southern... Oh boy. So this is what... Wow. Embarrassing. So embarrassing. Just, folks, I report this stuff, all right? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I want to share these headlines and talk about all this really neat stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and... Listen, these underwater volcanoes in Italy are neat, and we just want to show you this story here. Go ahead and check out the link on our website to get all the details, but I'm not even going to attempt it. I mean, truncated, conical shape. I guess it's just words I'm not used to seeing. I don't know. It's been a really long day, folks. I think all this cosmic ray, look, tough cone-like morphology. Like, where in the hell have we said morphology? The 3 northern volcanoes show a tough cone-like morphology. Wait, listen now. Say this really fast together. Scientists have discovered a series of previously known unknown volcanoes just off the coast of southwest Sicily, Italy. The 3 northern volcanoes show a tough cone-like morphology, while the 3 most southern edifices have truncated conical shape. I don't know. I feel like Ron Burgundy here. Ages of all newly discovered volcanoes are late quaternary. Quaternary? So I guess what Mari's saying is just
fired.
Hand me a coloring book and a box of crayons is what she's saying back here in the background. But yeah, so check out this article here on Watchers.news. 6 volcanoes. Wow. All right, and on to some serious news here. The flood claims about 531 lives, leaves 650,000 displaced in India. Heavy monsoon rains affecting parts of India since the end of June have claimed 531 lives as of August 6, 2019. I do believe this is a growing tally. 182 people died in Maharashtra state, 130 in Bihar, 93 in Assam, 53 in Gujarat, 34 in Karnataka, 26 in Kerala, and 13 in Rajasthan. More than 655,000 people are displaced across the 1,400 relief camps in Assam, Bihar, Karnataka, Kerala states, DG and Echo reports. According to initial assessments, approximately 36,000 houses have been destroyed in affected states. National authorities deployed 147 national disasters report. Okay.
Another cosmic ray.
I'm telling you, the cosmic rays are bombarding today.
Have like a special effect noise.
Holy goodness. National authorities deployed 147 national disaster response force teams to the affected areas.
Somebody did a super jib by Ukrainians.
I tell you what, if you want to do super chats for crayons, why don't you do a super chat for Hooked on Phonics? I think that might be a little bit better investment, folks. Good grief. Is it break time yet? Tropical storm Whippa claims the lives of 10 more. Are you? You're encouraging them in the chat. That's you know.
I'll edit this out.
No. This is classic, you know, intimate moments with Grand Solar Minimum channel.
Now people are saying I work you too much.
Oh, no, folks. She doesn't watch. Well, probably doesn't work me enough.
I work you too much.
Oh boy. Good grief. So, no, Mari actually does all the work. I get off easy by doing these live shows. I do have a full-time job during the daytime, but however, tonight is just totally inexcusable, so I apologize. Tropical storm Whippa claims 10 lives, leaves 11 missing in Vietnam. This was on August 2nd, 2019, causing floods and landslides. Fortunately, 10 people have lost their lives and left 11 people missing, so that death toll could rise. 91 homes collapsed and 96 others were damaged. They report more than 1,000 houses were submerged and over 400 and, well, let's just say 1,100 acres of crops were destroyed. The hardest hit areas, I am not going to butcher that one, but this province had 5 deaths and 9 missing folks, with 5 injured from this. You see the flooding here, common. We've seen it all year long, everywhere and anywhere. Before hitting Vietnam, Whippa caused wind damage and floods in parts of China's Gansu, Henan, and Guangdong. In 24 hours to July 31st, capital Henan province and Haikou recorded 10.8 inches of rain. And need I say less, but obviously the reason why we're seeing all this rain is all the cosmic rays that we have observed in our atmosphere, and it continues to get worse as we continue to travel further into this what seems to be a deep minimum at start. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a very short GSM climate news update.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description
and the mic's
below.
On during the commercial. Hey, it's gonna happen tonight, folks. If anything can happen, it's going to happen tonight. So why not? I'm glad I just didn't curse. So let's take a look at our crop report here, folks. Speaking of jokes, the percentage in certain states of good to excellent is improving in certain areas. Colorado, you're looking at between your good and excellent is around 74% of your crops. That's not bad. 63 of that is your good rated crops. Let's just say this. The majority of the excellent rated crops are in Tennessee, Texas, Wisconsin, but I don't know how long that is actually going to stand up. This is as of August 4th. So next week's report is going to be a little bit different because that Wisconsin number of excellence might go down. We've had a couple storms roll through that area just in the past couple of days. 31% good in Ohio, 3% excellent. Their fair condition crops is 43% of the crops. 43% of their crops in Ohio are fair condition right now. What would help is dry weather, not as much rain, I guess I should say, and some heat. Poor condition crops in Ohio is at 17%, and very poor is at 6% in Ohio. Indiana, it's not much better. You've got 39% fair crops. Your good to excellent is a little bit higher than Ohio's, about 36% compared to Ohio's 34%. But still a large amount, 22% of very poor and poor condition corn crops across Illinois. Indiana, same story. Iowa, a little bit better. Total, about 66% of your crop is in good or excellent shape. The majority of it is good. Kansas, not bad. Could be better. A lot of fair. Probably a little bit higher than normal poor rating on crops. But Maria informed me today that every time we get rain in that area, flash flood watches go up everywhere. So obviously, if our crops are starting to favor the poor and the fair conditions, it's because we're seeing more rain and more floods, and it's stunting the growth of these crops. Kentucky, not bad. You're about 71% good and excellent condition on the corn crop there. Your fair is actually kind of low. 20% of your crop is in fair condition, and the poor to very poor is under 10%. So not bad as far as Kentucky is concerned. Michigan's about the same as Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Minnesota, it's half and half there. Missouri, you've had a lot of flooding, so you've got about 44% of your crop that's in the fair and over 20% that's in the very poor to poor condition of corn crops. So some of these numbers, in my mind, just say that these particular farmers are limping into harvest. Let's take a look at soybean condition by percentage. We'll start in the states like Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. The good to excellent condition of crop of soybean in Ohio is 29%, 27 being good, 2 being excellent. 46% is in fair condition, so this is similar to their corn. And then you have about 25% that is rated very poor to poor. The majority of that being 18% in the poor category. This is the state of Ohio. So not good for the farmers there in Ohio. Let's jump up to Illinois. Again, your good to excellent rating is about 40%, 34% being good. Your fair is 36%. And the very poor to poor, again, comes in at 24% of your crops in Illinois. Indiana, same story. You're about 26% of crop that is very poor to poor condition. Your excellent and good condition crops are 36%, and the majority of your fields in your state are looking at about 38% fair condition crops. Iowa, not too bad on your soybeans. Kansas could be better, but the majority of your crop situation is in the fair, good, and excellent categories. Only 10% is rated poor to very poor. Kentucky, also in good shape, 72% rated for good and excellent conditions. Michigan, not so much. You're pretty much close to Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, with very low numbers in the good and excellent conditions. Minnesota, not terrible, not great. Missouri, Mississippi. Mississippi not doing bad, especially considering of all the flooding that we've had in the region. Missouri as well. 47% excellent and good is not terrible. 40% fair is, we'll see how it works. Nebraska, not bad. 78% is rated good and excellent. 25% is fair, and less than 6% is in very poor to poor shape. So for the most part, whatever numbers that these states that are suffering in the corn are also suffering in the soybean department as well. Texas and Tennessee being the best states as far as crops are. Tennessee, you're looking at right about what, 61% good, 16% excellent. So we're approaching almost 80% good, excellent crops. So we got winter out of Tennessee and Texas and Oklahoma are probably our three biggest winter states. Iowa, you're coming in a close 4. But Nebraska, Kansas, we're still on the fence. South Dakota, North Dakota, we're still on the fence. I mean, North Dakota is not bad. I mean, 63% good and excellent condition crops is great. 28% fair is not terrible. Under 10% rated very poor and poor. South Dakota is the same thing, but these are numbers as of August 4th, and we have reported on some storm damage in that region. Right now, this farm map is showing that the United States, for the most part, is farmable. Get out in those fields and work, as of August 4th, 2019. So when we do our next broadcast on Monday, I believe, well, actually Friday we have a broadcast, but on our Monday evening broadcast, we will have the updated report on the USDA, I believe, for the surveying of the crops, and we will hopefully get a better idea of what the yields possibly could turn out to be this year during harvest. If all these fields that were planted are actually producing crops, because I know that's a lot of concern with folks too. The fields might have been planted, but recent floods and continuing floods have prevented anything from growing. All right, and so a lot of talk about coal. I know here in the United States, a lot of our lawmakers are trying to make coal illegal in most states of the United States. California and New York being the top 2 states, really leading that one there. But approvals for new coal mine construction in China have surged in 2019. Government documents showed with Beijing expecting consumption of the commodity to rise in the coming years, even as it steps up its fight against smog and greenhouse gas emissions, which I might add, China does need to get a grip on their air pollution issue. I know a lot of you folks see a lot of articles throughout the internet, a lot of these folks wearing masks because the smog gets really thick. China is very heavily populated. But here we go. Maybe they need to invest more money in carbon capture to help with that air pollution, if anything. But long-term cuts in coal consumption are a part of the key part of China's energy, environment, and climate goals. But the 5-fold increase in the new mine approvals for the first half of 2019 suggests China's targets still provide ample room for shorter-term growth. China's energy regulator gave the go-ahead to build 141 million tons of new annual coal production capacity from January to June, compared to 25 million tons over the whole last year. So why are they more than quadrupling, right? The projects included new mines of the regions of Inner Mongolia, Xinjiang, Shaanxi, and Shaanxi that are part of national strategy to consolidate output at dedicated coal production bases, as well as expansions of existing collieries, the National Energy Administration documents showed. The NEA did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and Beijing aims to raise the share of non-fossil fuels and overall energy mix to 15% by the end of next year, for around 14.3% currently and 20% by 2030. It cut the share of coal 59% last year, down from 68.5% in 2012. However, it is alarming that China's energy planning seems to be driving at roughly maintaining current levels of coal output for the coming decade or two, which is very hard to reconcile the goal of the Paris Agreement on climate change, he said. Especially given that oil and gas consumption is still increasing, it's imperative that coal use starts falling again after rebounding for the past 3 years. China's coal output rose about 2.6% in the first half of 2019 to 1.76 billion tons. Now, what I gather from this article here, basically, these experts are saying, look, if we're going to meet these Paris Agreement coal, CO2 emissions reductions, we have to start scaling down the use of coal right now by year's end. But according to this article, it appears that China is increasing the permits for building new coal plants and coal mines over the next 2 decades. Well, that just doesn't make any sense. If experts are saying, if this man-made thing is real, like they're trying to say it is, that they have till the end of the year to start cutting back on the use of coal, but yet China says we're building more coal plants, we're building more coal mines, and we're not reducing the amount of coal that we use. So the only thing I can tell you folks is that this is another, as far as I'm concerned, and I know this is a hard pill to swallow because a lot of us are upset with China right now. But when I see a entity like China saying, we're going full steam ahead with coal, we're going to continue to use the same amounts that we've always used and then some. And yes, we'll still commit to the Paris Climate Agreement. So does that mean that they are saying that out of the side of their mouth as they continue to burn coal? Or are they saying that because they know that coal is not the reason why that the earth is warming, and China realizes that CO2 is a very small trace gas to the atmosphere? And maybe also China understands that man is not causing climate change. I mean, to me, if you're going to participate in a climate agreement that says that CO2 is the culprit, you would think that you would scale down your coal use, but they're ramping it up almost 6 times as much as what they were using or what they want to do. Maybe that's the balance, right? The U.S. is dumb and we're going to stop using coal while China and other countries stay warm during the winter and use coal and natural gas. And by the way, we all know natural gas is cleaner than coal. I mean, let's face it. We don't disagree that these coal mines, these coal plants that have emissions that go into the atmosphere, they do impact as far as pollution goes, air quality. I'm not going to sit here and act like that we don't contribute to things like that, or drinking water, or how clean our parks and wildlife preserves are, and lakes and oceans. I'm not going to sit here and act like that man doesn't contribute to that. But it certainly doesn't have anything to do with the climate, because if it did, China would not be increasing the use of coal plants, nor would they continue to stay at the levels that they're currently at now if they're expected to drop. Again, an expert says we need to start cutting back the use of coal by the end of this year, but yet the Chinese government is planning to continue to build coal mines and coal plants through the next 2 decades. Interesting stuff there, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick little message, and this time I will go ahead and mute the mic.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform, buy a t-shirt, or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.
All right, we're looking at the Sunspot chart, the work of David Birch, TSM Solar Observations, which we hope to have on the show at some point. David has shown a little bit of interest in possibly speaking with us and talking about his work and what's to come in this grand solar minimum in the coming future. But again, I have no future date on that. I just know that we will eventually have a discussion. So good news on that part. But this is a graph that we keep on our website that David had put together. All right, so let's talk about the slowest start to Atlantic hurricane season. I want to point this out really fast. Actually, let me do this too. All right, so my mic's still on. All right, great. While I am showing you this article on what's up with that, I also want to bring up Mike's weather page, and I want to share with you guys a couple things. The shear one, but the dust is the main thing I wanted to show you guys. So bear with me here real quick, guys. Usually they have this update here on his site. I'm not sure how. Here we go. The dust. And right now, again, this apparently has a lot to do with why we are seeing, this is part of the reason why we have a very slow start to the Atlantic hurricane season. Back to the main screen here. All right. Here's a look right now. Not much happening. This is a Sahara dust layer. As you guys can see, we've got a wave of dust, very thick dust that could be coming off the coast of Africa. We have a large area of dust here. And that stuff there will absorb moisture along with wind shear. It almost makes things impossible for hurricane development. Now, when we go over the GFS, I'll show you a couple things that would like to disagree with that. But watching the current maps and models, it appears that 2019 Atlantic hurricane season is off to a slow start for people that depend on the disaster report and climate alarmist media. That means no weather events to claim as being climate driven. Very important that Anthony Watts includes that, because usually by August, you guys that are here right now on our YouTube channel know that there are a lot of channels out there that like to pump up these hurricanes to be bigger than what they actually are. And this year really has to be disappointing for some of those fear porn channels. I'm not going to name any. I think a lot of people know there's only like one or two that really kind of overdo these weather events from the ocean. And that's really it, honestly. But still, Anthony Watts wants to put everyone to rest here. Good enough for me. With no current areas of storm development, 2019 has had a slow start since at least 2004, when Hurricane Charlie was named on August 9th, 2004. In a private email with top-notch hurricane forecaster Joe Bastardi, he concurs that the assessment adds, there is a chance that this could tie the 1977 for lowest August ACE. ACE is accumulated cyclone energy, an index used to measure tropical storms and hurricane energy released into the atmosphere. 1977 had the lowest for ACE. The National Hurricane Center says nothing is likely ahead in the next 5 days. Yeah, let's play it safe here. Okay, throw some softball pitches here. Nothing is going to happen in the next 5 days. Assuming no new tropical cyclones formed by August 9th, the slow start of named storms would then go back to 2001. Tropical Storm Chantal was named on the 14th of August. The peak of the season lies ahead in September, though. Okay, and as you guys can see here, we have a chart that shows you typically what we look at in the month of August. Okay. Both between tropical storms and hurricanes, the average is almost 4 in August, historically from 1851 to 2017. September averages about 6. About 3 hurricanes and 3 tropical storms mainly. And then we start to see chances decreasing once again in October. October actually is a little bit lower than August numbers, and November and December, of course, get real quiet. Now, is this saying that we're going to get a bunch of hurricanes at the end of the month? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to compare August's numbers to so far, and I think Joe Bastardi is onto something. On top of the ACE, you've got Atlantic waters that aren't really as warm as they could be. We have El Nino, who is still trying to hang around, and the wind shear from that is also probably affecting development in these Atlantic storms. So if we're going to get even close to these August and September numbers, I honestly believe, actually this is for Atlantic region, so I don't think we're going to get close to them, honestly. I don't like making predictions, but just looking at the current conditions right now, folks, I'm super shocked. And I think that'll be reflected too when I show you guys the GFS. Severe storms possible for the East Coast. Let me tell you something. We went through it today, for sure. Here is a look at the radar earlier today near Troy, New York, in the capital region. Lots of lightning. Here's some pictures here from a friend of mine, Will Rushford, and he is from the region as he was driving through back home. Trees were down, power lines were down. And this just kind of came out of nowhere. Look at the size of these tree limbs just falling to the ground. We were expecting severe weather today, but I don't think anybody was expecting tree limbs this size to come down. Now, thankfully, there was no hail damage, there was no roof damage, nothing too structural, but still, Will and I talk about the weather a lot in this region. He's lived here all his life. And for the last 2 weeks, the capital region here in New York has been hit with storms like this in the Clifton Park, Schenectady, Troy area. And the only thing that he could compare this to was the 1991 tornado that Mechanicville had received. And Mari was also a resident of the state during that time, and she says she remembers that. Mari, do you have any memories about that particular weather event that you would like to share, or are you just too young to really even realize what was going on?
Oh, I was a teenager back in the day.
13, 14 years old?
I don't remember exactly. I don't want to disclose my age because people think I'm so youthful and young. So, anyway.
Oh, that's right. You were watching Fraggle Rock. So definitely no recollection of this storm whatsoever.
I remember.
Never happened.
I was old enough to drive because I actually drove out to Mechanicville to see the damage, and I was shocked to see these houses pierced by these trees and plywood, just pierced through like a needle in a pincushion. It was unreal to me because we simply do not get tornadoes in this area, but this area is prone to severe weather, so didn't really think about it much until you mentioned it. This is probably the third or fourth storm we've seen go through, and the past, I think we've covered it actually 2 shows, tonight and the night, maybe couple months ago, a month ago.
Well, it's just and the last couple weeks, it's been kind of interesting. I mean,
do you remember the show we did and we showed chances of thunderstorms, and it showed the United States map, and it was like
all orange,
yeah, like the whole thing. We're experiencing these weird outbreaks,
widespread
severe weather, and I don't recall in the years that we've had this channel running it, covering the weather as extensively as we have, I don't recall a series of storms this widespread and this severe in such small localized areas. Widespread. It's weird.
Well,
I feel like it should be assigned a new type of weather phenomenon, to be honest, because I haven't noticed it until this year.
There's a current look at our weather radar right now too, and widespread showers, and it's these popcorn storms that, you know, Mari and I are referring to. These pop up, these strong small cells here with lots of lightning, like here near Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Sunbury, you're getting buried with lightning right now, and that system's very small. It's not that big. And that's what happened today in the Albany region when the storm earlier came through. It was a very small storm, but had lots of lightning. And right now it's pretty quiet out there. Some lingering shower action. I do know the power went out in Saratoga, and right now just lots of scattered thunderstorms out there. Nothing really severe. The lightning's kind of finally dying down, and that is mainly because we are now losing the energy from the sun. The sun has been down now for over an hour, so that has a lot to do with it as well. But let's zoom out and take a look at look at that. New York City is getting hammered with rain right now. Hartford, Connecticut, Boston, you're on the outer edge of this right now. Lots of rain and action still to come on the East Coast. New Jersey, Atlantic City is now finally getting some relief from these showers. You guys have been in the rain all day. Scattered across Virginia, some stronger cells. Let's go ahead and zoom in here in parts of Virginia where we're seeing a strong cell moving over Charlottesville as we speak right now. Also, if you go a little bit further west to Bluefield, another small cell, but again, producing heavy rain and lots of lightning with that. And it's just kind of, you know, these little rogue pop-up thunderstorms that are dropping quick amounts of rain, 1/2 inch to 3/4, but lots of lightning and gusty winds are with these small little storms here.
So my question, Jake, are these widespread little series of storms new, or is it just that we're able to see it better with better technology? Is it just better radar systems?
It could be better radar systems. It could be. Not doubting that. We obviously have more satellites in orbit than we've ever had before. So it could be that we just have better technology right now. But I'm not so sure. Again, I've been watching the Weather Channel since I was a kid, and I agree with you 100%. I've never seen the thunderstorm risk map. It was almost 90% of the United States was in a risk for a thunderstorm, and that's just weird. I mean, Green Bay, you guys had some stormy weather tonight. That's moving out finally. Just some light showers heading into Michigan. Traverse City, you're getting light rain at this moment. Some lightning involved with this, but again, that is quickly diminishing as well. And that's pretty much what we're looking at as far as our current weather. Parts of Nebraska are looking at some flooding here, possibly with some heavy rain. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I'm going to say hello to Matt out there. It looks like you're pretty safe as far as you're going to have dry weather tonight. Good stuff there. Heavy rain just above north of Sydney. Lots of lightning out here near Alliance as well. Scottsbluff, you just got through a little small storm system. That actually intensified pretty quickly right over you guys as it was coming through. Boom. Harrisburg as well, you're about to have a storm that is approaching you. So nothing major as far as weather goes tonight. Just some showers and thunderstorms, but very widespread. I mean, take a look at the map overall and look at the lightning strikes right now. It's like we're looking at thousands of or millions of lightning bugs across the United States, honestly. So that's widespread. In my opinion, that's widespread lightning. So again, to answer your question, Mari, I don't know. Is it better technology, or look at all the lightning that's going off right now in the U.S.? Does that have something to do with all the cosmic rays and the highly charged particles in our atmosphere right now? Yeah, so it could be a little bit of both too, Mari. So who knows? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS as of tonight. Actually, this starts off tomorrow, Thursday. Heavy rain back in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, the East Coast, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., Virginia, North Carolina. Florida with more showers, Colorado and New Mexico a little low forming over there, spreading into Nebraska. Matt, looks like you guys have a chance of showers on Thursday evening as that rain will continue to head towards the east and the south and reload and get even heavier as it enters through Missouri and Arkansas by Friday. A heavy batch of rain moving into the south again. Saturday, the atmosphere reloads up, pushes rain east once again. Very heavy rain possible for your area again, Matt, on Sunday, August 11th, in northern Kansas as well. These areas really don't need any more heavy rain, and the GFS is indicating that it could be a pretty decent amount of rain. And then a couple days later, another system reloads almost exactly in the same spot. Now, fortunately, a little bit further east, but again, northern Kansas, and this region up here, will see very heavy rain amounts once again within a 2 to 4 day period. And that's going to be starting late this week, Friday into Saturday. This rain will move east into Iowa, parts of Illinois, Wisconsin, move across the Great Lakes, Toledo and Cleveland, into Erie, PA, and western New York. This system almost moves like a Lando cane, honestly, the low pressure system here. So I'm expecting some heavy flooding rains here across the Great Lakes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week here in the Great Lakes and Northeast region. And also more of that popcorn-like thunderstorm cells showing up now on the GFS. Look at this. Take a look. I'll put the arrows down here. One cell there, one cell there, one cell there, one cell there. I mean, this looks like what we've been going through up here. So keeping our eyes on that late, about 7 days from today. But behind that system, once again, in the Colorado and Nebraska and Kansas area, more rain will develop and move east. Again on Friday of next weekend, more chances of rain throughout Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, Arkansas, across the deep south again, too. Also, this moisture is going to continue to flow through the Great Lakes into the northeast once again by the following weekend as well. And it looks like the heavy rains will continue to fall. So about 4 to 6 days apart, northeastern part of New York, about Albany and northward, has a chance to pick up significant amounts of rain in a short period of time, twice within 7 days. Again, the South, Midwest, Northeast getting bombarded with rain showers. 2 days after that, Monday, August 19th, GFS is indicating that the atmosphere is reloaded. Heavy rain in South Dakota and Nebraska moves eastward into the Great Lakes once again across the Midwest. Heavy rain in Missouri and Iowa into Illinois and Indiana into the Great Lakes. Boy, this is getting messy here by August 21st. Large system here moving through the Great Lakes according to the GFS. And again, this is a couple weeks out. So very wet, active pattern from the plain states all the way through the Northeast and the Midwest. Now, here's the elephant in the room that we should address. This is the 18Z, so we're not looking at any fear porn model scenario, but let's watch this area here in the Gulf, because I do believe the temperatures are favorable. And I did say here a little bit ago that if we have any activity for hurricanes, it is not going to be anywhere in the Atlantic. It will be in the Gulf. And let's see if we can pinpoint exactly when this storm, I'd say right here is when this thing starts to get a little bit more organized and concerning. And that's for Thursday, August 22nd. I also want to note too that it looks like GFS is now backing off. Thank God. GFS is now backing off that chance of snow. It's a very, very small chance now than what it was than 2 nights ago in our last broadcast. But let's check out that Gulf system here as we move forward again. And like I said, we get to right about here where I think we start to show just a little bit of concern. Let me, if I get back to that spot right there. That's where we start to notice the system picking up a little bit of energy and moving into the Gulf by August 21st. It's a little bit more intense by the 22nd, kind of stalls out a little bit, hangs out, and finally moves into the Gulf by late Thursday. But it doesn't stay that organized. We don't have the tight rings here. We see this could be just a tropical depression or tropical storm at worst at this point. But as we move forward in this forecast model, it does seem to kind of want to rebound as it gets into the Gulf. And there's a lot of moisture being drug up from the tropics here. All right, this is one thing that we probably should watch. So this storm is drawing its moisture from the tropics. Plenty of it. Also, the Gulf temperatures are going to support rapid development of a storm. So, as much as I don't like to be the forecaster predictor of gloom and doom, this could be a storm that we might have to keep an eye on in the near future. And when I say near future, I'm talking the end of August, August 23rd. Now, with that being said, I just showed you an article on what's up with that if we make it past the 14th of August and we get till, what was it, the 19th? That now we're looking at the latest storm to hit the United States, or the latest named storm was in 2001. So this isn't even showing a named storm in the Atlantic region. So this is going to break records, in my opinion. This start that we're having in the Atlantic hurricane season. High pressure in the Greenland causing a block for a couple of days, actually. And very unusual for a Greenland block situation in August. This is stuff that we see usually in February January, February months. And let's be thankful, because all that green would be snow if that was the case. And that snow more than likely could reach the south with this current pattern that we're looking at. But that Greenland block won't last. Low pressure system goes up here and it's fighting the good fight. But folks, the high pressure systems appear to be dominating a lot. I want to show Europe too, because you guys have some interesting weather coming your way here in the next several days. Go ahead and back it up a little bit. So here's system number 1 by Friday, August 2019. And this low pressure system is a multi-day event. Could be a windy one, decent amount of rain. Our friend Henrik in Denmark, you should see some rain from this system as well. France, parts of Italy, Germany, all soggy. And here comes system number 2. And this will be August 14th. Again, heavy rain, possible windy at times. Things could get a little hairy out here. So we have 2 decent storm systems invading the UK within a 5-day period from August 9th through August 14th. Very interesting weather. And then look out. A third system, not as strong, but still relevant, as it'll bring more rain and showers and wind to the region once again by the 18th of August. So we're about averaging every 4 days a low pressure system coming into the UK and just making the weather downright dreary. And here we are, August 21st, right on cue. Look at this. Jeez. Now, again, let's all be thankful that this is August and not January and February. Because right now, the European nations, UK, and the eastern part and northeastern part of the United States, this would be quite a bit of snow. But thankfully, again, we're in August. But still, impressive systems moving across the United States over to the pond, and it's affecting their weather as well. Lots to go over, guys. So by any means, is this looking like that we are going to have a slowdown whatsoever in these patterns? Now, temperatures. We went over these on Monday. Probably not much difference from our Monday forecast. Summer is hanging on the deep south for sure, but look at all the cooler temperatures across the northern plains, the Midwest, and the Northeast. That has a lot to do with the wet pattern that we're going to have for the majority part of August. It's not going to be a bust for everybody. Summer is still here. As you see here on this August 23rd, we have 80s throughout much of the nation. But we do have 70s and high 60s in areas that we probably should see 80s, mid 80s, maybe low 90s at this point. These used to be called the dog days of summer. I'm a little concerned about how much hotter it's actually going to get for the rest of the summer. I could be wrong, but we could be seeing a wind down starting here within the next 2 to 3 weeks and noticing a lot cooler weather in the Northeast, the Northwest, and across the northern plains, obviously, because it's farther north, but especially in the Northeast and the Northwest. With the way the jet stream has been, I expect the dip to be on those 2 corners of our country first before we start seeing some serious cooling down by late September. So, again, just an outlook based on the information that I have in front of me. All right, Mario, would you like to come over and say hello to the chat and all that good stuff? All those good folks out there who put up with my lack of hooked on phonics.
We're talking about how to hoard chocolate in the apocalypse. I'm just kidding. Not really. We're trying to talk about how to hoard. Look at what you have done,
Sorry.
Jake. We are talking about what would be fun to store long-term storage, and that is always a fun conversation. But first, I would like to thank our super chatters. Matt Bros. He did a super chat and he said, just for us, because he likes us. And then he did a comment, and I didn't write it down exactly, but he said, "Go Browns." No, really, I meant the Packers. So, which made me laugh because we have a Packers fan in the house.
Yep. My 11-year-old is a Packers fan. I don't know how it happened, but he is. So if that's your team, Matt, I'm okay with that, buddy.
We have our Cleveland supporter, SoulQuest.
SoulQuest 216.
Support the GSM team. So thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
And then your crayons for Jake.
Should we start a GoFundMe account?
Space Monkey, thank you for buying Jake some crayons.
You know what's sad is that Space Monkey complimented me on Monday, and he said, or she, whoever it is, you've come a long way, Jake. Good show tonight. And then I do this. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's donating towards the box of crayons. Thank you, Space Monkey.
Chronics.
Hooked
That's
on
what
Chronics.
Jake Green said.
Hooked on Chronics.
Maybe that'll help. Our Star Project's
Probably
like
hurt.
Jake's having a cosmic ray moment. So that was fun.
I was.
But in the end, Jake, the main thing is we all love you. We think you're wonderful.
Well,
So let's see what else here. State climatologist in Nebraska mentioned early frost today. Said anything planted past June 1st will have significant damage.
Wow.
And that's from Matt Bros. And I was just saying in the chat, even an on-time frost is bad.
Yeah.
Let
it
that
is.
sink in, people.
Because we're 3 to 5 weeks behind. So
An on-time frost
Yep.
is going to be bad, and all signs point to a very bleak harvest.
at least
I'm
an on-time frost.
very concerned.
Yeah.
Very, very concerned, especially with all the signs in the stores now with how our food supply was last year. We were made to believe that crop conditions were not too bad, not, it's sort of average.
Well, and to
No
be
big issues.
And to be fair, I'll give an update too. Those signs are disappearing now, and they did say they would have replenished the stock on August 2nd
see
through the
some
9th.
weird ones
Well,
being
but here's the
posted on
thing:
social media. I
how
don't know.
long? How long does that stock last? If we had a scare like that now, how long does this next stock last? Is what I'm saying. So go ahead.
Do you want to gamble it? No. I'd
No.
rather prep and stock up
Be ready.
food supplies and be ready. That's basically. I hope I'm wrong. Let's hope we're all wrong, but let's be on the side of just being smart and prepared. Matt also said over 100,000 acres of irrigated ground stalled out in Wyoming and Nebraska due to a canal failure.
Yeah, he shared that with me earlier. I didn't get a chance
I don't
to go
think I
through it
got
all,
to
but
read that,
thanks,
or
Matt.
he might have said that. I haven't been on Facebook much today, so. And then Ian put in the last GSM, people knew how to grow their own food. Now it's not going to end so well. City folk, most don't even know where the food comes from. And this is so true. It's not something you can just learn overnight, how to garden, how to sow seeds, how to harvest, how to take care of your plants, fertilize, feed them, give them the proper amount of light, all the way to preserving them, all the techniques into preserving them so you don't poison your family, especially when it comes to like canning your food properly. If that goes wrong, you could really get sick. So you have to really practice and do trial and error before you can, be good at this. And I've recommended a few books in the chat. Just homesteading books seem to be a good start for people because it covers a little bit of everything. Gardening, survival, prep. I really there's a bunch of different good homesteading books out there. I think I still have them listed on our website. If not, I'll make sure they're back up there. So, if you don't know how to garden and you don't want to start right now, at least get a book so you have, you can read up and learn some techniques and have it in case you do need it. I don't know if I have anything else, Jake.
Special thanks to Will from Albany for the photos today. Also, I want to do a quick shout out to Judah Cohen. He actually forecasted this current Greenland high pressure situation, and we're a little early this year to start talking about Greenland blocks, like I said earlier. But Judah Cohen on Twitter has been talking about this situation for a little while now. You good?
I'm good.
All right.
I think, I didn't take too many notes. I just would like to thank everyone in the chat. And, it's always a pleasure to spend this time with you and share ideas. And
Absolutely.
Please start using the Grand Solar Minimum website. If you don't want to use that, hop into our Facebook group and share your ideas. I know, I think her name was Gina. She says she teaches canning.
We would love to see you.
Yeah,
Share
3
your
5-minute videos,
pictures
sure.
and your how-tos, or if you want to do a little video to share with the community on how to do that, share away. We'll be happy to spread that information throughout the whole community. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, Mari.
Have a great night, everyone. We will be back Friday, right, Jake?
Yes, Friday. But thank you very much, Mari, for your participation and keeping everyone in the chat civil as always. Hello to Ian out there. Good to see you. I'm looking at some of the folks out there. Just want to do a quick shout out.
Matt Bros.
Matt, Thor, all of you who tune in. Jeff, I seen your name. Cheryl. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. We'll be back Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, we will talk soon, guys. Take care.